Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, welcome to the International Conference on Contemporary Issues in Islamic Finance, eICCIIF 2020. In this video, I will make a presentation of the study regarding the scope of Islamic capital market. This research paper was written by myself, Aizat Saad, and the corresponding author for this research paper is Associate Professor Dr. Wan Najmi Muhammad Fisol. The title of this study is Rebuilding the National Economy by Issuance of the First Malaysia Digital Sukuk, which is Sukuk Prihatin, and its distribution through fintech services, a view from the perspective of Maqasid al-Shariah. In this study, we will discuss about Malaysia First Digital Sukuk, namely Sukuk Prihatin, and the view from the perspective of Maqasid al-Shariah. This presentation is divided into 4 parts, namely introduction, discussion, findings, and finally the conclusion part. Before we begin, this is an abstract for this research paper. The main objective of this paper is to focus on rebuilding the national economy by issuance of Sukuk Prihatin and using fintech services for its distribution from the perspective of Maqasid al-Shariah. In the success of this study, we implement a qualitative method which based on journal articles, interviews the Islamic banking student and lecturers, reading and any other related materials. In this study, we would like to examine from the perspective of Maqasid al-Shariah on the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin, and the use of fintech services in the distribution of it is in line with the doctrines of preservation of religion, preservation of life, preservation of intellect, preservation of lineage, and preservation of wealth emphasized in Maqasid al-Shariah. Alright, we'll start with the introduction. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused many adverse implications for a country, including economic affairs. Most countries carry out curfews at home to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus, and not left behind in Malaysia, the government implements the movement control order starting on 18th of March 2020. Such actions have had great implication for the economy of a country and even the global economy. To meet these challenges, most countries have announced economic stimulus packages to ensure that their respective economies are still in a good shape. In Malaysia, the government has announced the National Economic Recovery Plan, or Plan Jana Semula Ekonomi Negara, which is PENJANA, to rebuild the economy, which has been running slowly due to MCO. The announcement have been done on 5th of June 2020. One of the initiatives taken under PENJANA program to revive the national economy is with the issuance of Malaysia First Digital Sukuk, which is Sukuk Prihatin. The table below shows the features of Sukuk Prihatin, which was first distributed digitally in Malaysia. We will highlight some important points from this Sukuk Prihatin knowledge pack. From the Sukuk Prihatin knowledge pack, we can see the issuer of this sukuk is the government of Malaysia. The utilization of proceeds, the proceeds from the Sukuk Prihatin will be channeled to the Kumpulan Wang COVID-19 to finance measures announced in the economic stimulus packages and recovery plan to address the COVID-19 crisis. And the Sukuk size, the Sukuk Prihatin size is up to 500 million in nominal value. The subscription period starting from the 18th August to 17th September 2020. Next, we'll move to the second table. We can see the Islamic principle used by this Sukuk Prihatin is commodity murabahah via tawarruk. The tenure or maturity date, the Sukuk Prihatin will have a maturity of 2 years and will mature on 22 September 2022. The target investor for Sukuk Prihatin is eligible Malaysian individuals and corporates. The profit rate to the investor is 2% per annum, which is fixed throughout the tenure. Next, we can see the minimum and maximum amount of subscription. Each application or subscription, initial or subsequent thereafter amount, is at least a minimum of 500 and in multiples of 100. There is no maximum subscription limit. Then we move to the tax treatment accorded to the sukuk holders. All profit from the sukuk will be tax exempted. For any principal amount waived in full or in part by the eligible buyer or applicant on maturity date, the waived amount will be allowed as reduction of the sukuk prihatin is made. The above tax treatment of only applicable to the eligible buyer or applicant and is not applicable to all financial institution, capital market and service license holder carrying on the business of fund management under CMSA and registered trustee who acts on behalf of the eligible buyer or applicant. And we also can see in the Sukuk Prihatin Knowledge Pack the distribution channel. This Sukuk Prihatin is offered in fully digital via internet or mobile banking via JomPay and Duit Now platform of the distribution banks. Okay, now we move to the discussion part, which is the financial technology and Maqasid al-Shari'ah. Basically, the use of financial technology is considered as permissible in Islam. This is based on the fiqh maxim, which states the originality of thing is permissibility. It is considered permissible if the use does not contradict with the Sharia law itself. Maqasid al-Shari'ah creates a balance in the use of information technology so that the usage is always on the balance sheet of goodness and avoid of any harm, either to individuals or communities, which based on the Quran and Sunnah. Through the convenience of financial technology, the general public can carry out daily activities such as online transaction of money, online payment for vehicle takaful, online transaction for investment activity, and any financial transaction and communication easier and faster. However, in using financial technology, it is deemed necessary to observe the purpose or intention for each transaction activities so that there is no contradiction to the Sharia principles. Therefore, considerations by the promoting of benefit should be based on essential objective, namely necessities, daruriyah, needs, hajiyah, and embellishment, tahsiniyah. From the necessities, it should be preserving on 5 necessities, such as religion, life, intellect, progeny, and wealth. The e-services of financial technology nowadays open space for every individual and society to make any financial transaction without borders. Therefore, a Muslim who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take into account the boundaries embodied in the Sharia principles. Even though the use of such technology is the will, the need, and the want of the present day, it is necessary to take account of the preservation of religion by not being involved with any prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, the application of financial technology is necessities to control so that it is not misused to cause the user to neglect the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, including any prohibited element such as riba, gharar, maisir in financial technology. Next, we move on to the national budget and Maqasid al-Shari'ah. A national budget announced must be in line with the objective of the Sharia toward seekings of benefit and preventing of harm, to ensure the justice and welfare of the people is achieved, as well as increasing the well-being of the people. This study shows that the Maqasid al-Shari'ah is the best way to understand more deeply about Islam, which is the mercy of world nature. This is in line with the word of Allah Almighty, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. which means we do not send you Muhammad but as a mercy to the world. Surah Al-Anbiya 107. Therefore, the budget set by the government is a budget that needs to be in line with the objective of Sharia, which is benefit to the people. In the case of Penjana, it is also a national budget. Even though it is not an annual budget, it still needs approval from Parliament to be delivered to the people. Okay, next we move to the findings of the study. There are two main findings for this research paper. Namely, the first one is the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin, and the second one is the use of fintech services in its distribution. For the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin, the findings from this study show that this Sukuk Prihatin is a Sharia compliant instrument based on the Tawarruk principle through the Murabahah commodity arrangement. The proceeds from the issuance of the Sukuk will be used for national economic recovery measures, and the proceeds of Sukuk Prihatin will be channeled to the COVID-19 fund for the implementation of economic recovery initiative. This include increasing connectivity to rural schools, covering health expenses related to infectious disease, and financing micro SMEs, especially women entrepreneurs. So the view from the perspective of Maqasid al-Sharia, the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin is in line with the doctrine of Maqasid al-Sharia, as it uses the Sharia compliant contract, which means in line with the preservation of religion. It also gives a benefit and preventing of harm for country economy, which to ensure the justice and welfare of the people is achieved, as well as increasing the well-being of the people. The second findings of the study is the use of fintech services in Sukuk Prihatin distribution. So this Sukuk Prihatin is the first Malaysia digital Sukuk, and it was distributed via online channel. The internet and mobile banking platform of the distribution banks via JomPay and Duit Now application. The view from the perspective of Maqasid al-Sharia, the usage of fintech services in issuance of Sukuk Prihatin is in line with the doctrine of Maqasid al-Sharia, as it uses the tools that can help to achieve the welfare of the people, as well as increasing the well-being of the people. Next, we move to the conclusion. In conclusion, the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin is aimed to regenerating the country economy. This means the issuance of Sukuk Prihatin is to stimulate the economy so that it can be restored during and after the movement control order. After the country's economy can be stimulated and regenerated after benefited from the Sukuk Prihatin, many economic opportunities can be reopened for the good of all the people and avoid the country's economy continuing to collapse. The use of fintech application in the distribution of Sukuk Prihatin is seen as an appropriate step, as it provides facilities for the public to subscribe to Sukuk Prihatin for investment purposes while helping to regenerate the national economy. As the first Sukuk distributed by a digital system in Malaysia, it will be the beginning of the next digital Sukuk to be issued to contribute to the country's Islamic capital market. The issuance of Sukuk Prihatin and the usage of fintech services in distributing it are in line with the doctrine of Maqasid al-Sharia. Therefore, we hope that the issuance of Sukuk by the Malaysian government through digital channels will continue in the future, as it not only conforms to the Maqasid al-Sharia doctrine, but also has a positive impact on the national economy, and also opens a new economic opportunities to the people as a whole. That's all the presentation from me. Thank you.